As I am writing this, Frieren is the #1 anime on Mao, and it had the highest peak with a 9.39 rating. That doesn't mean anything to writers or people who care about quality. Initially, I had no plans to watch it, but I decided to try and not be a hater and give it a fair chance. As I was forming my opinion on the first few episodes, I noticed striking similarities to another anime. Ancient Magus Bride is similar to Frieren in a couple of ways. Both are fantasy stories revolving around magic. Both have one of the main characters as a mage that's detached from humans. Both plots focus on the mundane lives of those mages. Both have characters that act and look bored all the time. Their difference is what interests me though, and what I believe makes Bride better than Frieren. In the skeleton of stories, conflict is one of, if not the most important bones. Without conflict, you have no story. Both of these anime capture that mundane vibe, because the conflict is low and doesn't demand immediate attention. Frieren's conflict is internal. She wants to spend more time with humans and understand them better. This stems from her being an elf who perceives time differently and regrets not spending enough time with her friends. Bride has two main characters, Chise and Elias. Chise's conflict is external. She wants to become a mage. Elias's is internal. He wants to understand humans as well. This stems from him being an unknown type of creature that is only capable of observing emotions, but not feeling them. What's cool is that Chise teaches Elias how to reach his goal, and Elias teaches Chise how to reach hers. Both of these are mundane because they don't require immediate attention. Frieren's first disadvantage is that the primary conflict doesn't have a strong enough obstacle. She wants to spend more time with humans and value time more, but what's stopping her? She ages differently, but she isn't unaware of the fact that humans age faster. Is it her aloof personality that causes her to dismiss other opinions? Then that wouldn't be that hard to change. Compare that to Bride. Becoming a mage is hard, just like learning any occupation. The story even goes into detail on how spells are used and shows how it's sometimes dangerous. These tangible obstacles create investment in the conflict. Elias also has valid obstacles in his way. He doesn't biologically experience emotions. The only way for him to chip away at this is by being taught specific emotions by Chise through spending time with her. Once again, the valid obstacle creates investment in the conflict. Here's an exaggerated example to nail home the point. Which story sounds more interesting? A story about a guy wanting to eat healthy food instead of junk food, or a guy wanting to become the best boxer in the world? The health guy just has to change the way he eats. He is his only obstacle. The boxer has to train to beat other boxers, which is a far more tangible obstacle. Frieren's second disadvantage is the visualization of progress. What the protagonist accomplishing her goal would look like isn't immediately interesting, especially from the first few episodes. I know it will eventually be her forming a new party from the opening, but that's bland for a big reason. She was already in a party years ago, so making another party doesn't feel like a big deal. I could also argue that her visualization of progress is her helping out random people and valuing time more, but the problem here is that it's such a subtle change, and it isn't as satisfying compared to Bride. Chise accomplishing her goal would look like her becoming a competent mage, like Elias, which is immediately more interesting. There will be an obvious difference within each step she takes towards her goal. Elias accomplishing his goal would look like him becoming a competent husband for Chise, which I look forward to even more than Chise's. We know this because he says he wants to make her his bride in episode 1. This would also be an obvious form of progress because he'd be going from an emotionless caretaker to an emotional lover. I'll give another exaggerated comparison. Which progress sounds more interesting? A guy gaining 10 pounds or a guy gaining 100 pounds of muscles? The answer should be the latter because gaining 10 pounds is such a subtle difference, but gaining 100 pounds of muscle is a stark difference. The visualization of progress would be far weaker in the first example compared to the second, making me more invested in the second. My last point is actually not connected to Bride, but I feel like it's important to bring up. Perhaps the story's biggest weakness is the lack of investment in its thematic conflict. The theme of the story is supposed to be, you should cherish and value the time you spend in life. The problem is that there isn't enough conflict surrounding this theme. There aren't enough obstacles preventing the characters from upholding this belief or arriving at this belief. A perfect positive example is Monster. Spoilers ahead. In Monster, the theme is the means justify the ends. For those who don't know, this means that the actions you take must be good regardless of the consequences, is deontology. The secondary theme is all life is valuable. The protagonist, Tenma, starts with these beliefs and has them tested multiple times. In the first episode, a little boy who needs surgery comes in first, then a political figure comes in. Tenma chooses to operate on the boy because he came in first and all life is valuable, regardless of the consequences of the politician potentially dying. The consequence of him saving the boy is that the boy was a psychopath serial killer who continues to kill throughout the story. That was the cost of him sticking to his beliefs. Then his beliefs start to waver and he learns how to use a gun to kill this boy. He even shoots to kill someone at one point, but they don't die. In the last act, Tenma has a chance to shoot the boy at point blank, but he's unable to because all life is valuable. Furthermore, since someone else shot the boy in the head, Tenma performs surgery to save the boy once again because the means justify the ends. As you can see, the story challenges Tenma's beliefs in interesting ways. Frieren does not do that. Since Frieren is initially against the theme, she could have internal thematic conflicts regarding the theme, like Walter White in Breaking Bad, or Tenma to a lesser degree, but she doesn't. She just bounces back and forth between valuing time and not valuing time. Fern and other humans could have been the representatives of the theme, while Frieren repped the anti-theme. This could have put them at odds in interesting ways and forced Frieren to make important choices that would change her perspective. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. If you couldn't tell, I didn't enjoy the episodes of Frieren I watched. It wasn't that good. It was subpar, which fits with Yume's hype curve. This is an approximation. As you can see, once the story's popularity and hype passes a certain point, the chances of me actually finding the story to be worth the hype is rare. This isn't causation, it's just correlation. The popularity doesn't cause me to rate the story lower. It just happens that stories rated 10s by the public tend to be average to me, especially in recent years with anime like Oshi no Ko getting the top spot at one point. It's not purely Mao hype, but Mao is probably the main source of anime hype. This is the reason I was referring to at the start when I said I didn't want to watch the show. In conclusion, I believe why Maga's Bride captured my attention while Frieren barely managed to hold it was because Bride's primary conflict had stronger obstacles and a better visualization of what progress in the goal looked like. Frieren also struggles with the thematic conflict. There are other smaller things like characters being more likable, having better chemistry, better plot, and better music, but these are the more objective traits that I noticed. A story being about the mundane is not an excuse for it to be boring.